once again.
Luke here. Alright, let's take a look at that roster of remakes and figure out which one I can talk about next. No, not ready to open that can of worms. What the hell is that? Chernabog? Oh, it's that guy. Why are they doing that? So, yeah, Disney's actually going to make a movie about Satan? When I went through the list of planned Disney remakes in episode 1 of DTMOMT, link in the description, I had this to say. I imagine he's going to be the antagonist in his movie, since he is a literal demon. But Disney, I will pay double for my movie ticket if you give him the wicked treatment and try to make him a misunderstood dark ruler of the underworld. And darn it all, it looks like I may have been right. The more research I did for this episode, the more places reported that the two writers, Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless, oh dear, are penning a script for this. I hesitate to call it a remake, but I suppose it is, which will portray Chernabog, the giant demon and star of 6 minutes of Disney's Fantasia, as a sympathetic character in the same way Maleficent showed Maleficent, the most flat-out evil for no given reason villain in the Disneyverse, as sympathetic. They really put the gory and allegory in that movie. Let me back up for a second and discuss the source material. The 12th century text Chronica Slavorum by Helmold, a German priest. In this source on Slavic mythology, Helmold described a bad god named Chernabog and a good god named Belobog, the names meaning black god and white god respectively. While it would be easy to draw a direct comparison to Judeo-Christian God and Satan, Helmold's description of the religious practices suggests that the Slavs made offerings to both deities, seeing them as representations of good and bad fortune. Fast forward 800 years to 1940, and Disney Studios releases Fantasia, an interesting cinema experiment that, while it was considered a financial failure at the time, has gone on through various re-releases and home video to be the 22nd highest grossing film of all time, when adjusted for inflation, of course. I can't imagine that there's someone watching this video who's never heard of Fantasia, but just to recap, it was a concert film featuring 8 animated segments, all dialogue-free, which visualize classical compositions intercut with the driest introductions possible by Deems Taylor. The most famous of these is The Sorcerer's Apprentice, featuring Mickey Mouse, which was adapted into a movie starring Nick Cage. And no Mickey Mouse at all.
Are you insane?
The most controversial of the 8 was not the one featuring the devil, but the one that features a black centaurette in a servile role. The crappy visuals are because these scenes were removed from the digital release, either completely or she was just edited out, as you can see in this scene with Bacchus, making unaltered video harder to come by. I'll give it a 4 out of 10 Jar Jars for racial insensitivity. The last of the 8 vignettes was A Night on Bald Mountain, featuring our boy Chernabog. Deems Taylor will tell you what to expect. Don't nod off now.
Musically and dramatically, we have here a picture of the struggle between the profane and the sacred. Bald Mountain, according to tradition, is the gathering place of Satan and his followers. Here on Walpurgis Night, which is the equivalent of our own Halloween, the creatures of evil gather to worship their master. Under his spell, they dance furiously, until the coming of dawn and the sounds of church bells send the infernal army slinking back into their abodes of darkness.
The sequence is made up of 5 minutes of little devils and skeletons dancing, witches, harpies, ghosts, all overseen by a giant demon on top of a volcano, followed by buzzkill bells driving them all away, and then 5 minutes of film that is almost guaranteed to cure insomnia. The contrast between the two sections is meant to be literally night and day, but it also contrasts interesting with boring, unfortunately. There's actually 3 whole minutes of watching people slowly walk with candles and then just slowly panning through trees. The lack of an actual story, other than creatures of the night love dancing and hate church bells, makes this both a simple story to adapt and a difficult one. There's that contrast again. Simple because there's not really an established lore to stick to, so you could take the story in any direction you'd like, and difficult because you don't have much to go on. If the rumors are true, then my fears have been realized and they are going to take a villain whose only character trait is being evil. Seriously, we know nothing else about him other than he seems to prefer farm animals over hot chicks. and try to make him a misunderstood protagonist. I would call this bit of news unfounded if it weren't for the title they've chosen. When they remade Sleeping Beauty into a story of why Maleficent wasn't all bad, they called the movie Maleficent, the one-word name of the antagonist from the original, not Sleeping Beauty. When they go to remake, finger quotes, Night on Bald Mountain, they'll retitle it Chernabog, the one-word name of the antagonist from the original. If you were to hand me a DVD of Fantasia and a pen and ask me to write a script for A Night on Bald Mountain the movie, I'd be distracted for a while watching the Centaurettes, and then I would start writing a story from the perspective of, since this is a Disney film, an orphan boy or girl who lived in the mountain village below Bald Mountain and had grown obsessed with what went on at the mountain peak on Walpurgisnacht. After being forbidden to go up there by some authority figure, the child would sneak up to the mountaintop anyway, witness the craziest demon crap the effects department can produce, be captured and brought before Chernabog, and have to somehow filibuster until dawn or face eternal damnation or something. That seems like the most logical extension of what we already have. Chernabog is a great villain in the sense that you don't have to worry about his motivation or giving him a real reason to be evil. He is the personification of evil. He's evil for evil's sake. Make it intense and a little scary, give it a PG-13 rating, and release it on April 30th, that's when Walpurgisnacht happens, or Halloween would work also if you wanted to westernize it. Instead, it seems we're going to get a story about how the little villagers in the sleepy mountain town shouldn't judge giant mountaintop volcano demons. I don't know, these guys have their work cut out for them. Those are my thoughts on the upcoming live action That's My Boggy. Check in next time and I'll go over some announcements made at D23 this year. Until then, like, subscribe, you know what to do.